the World Series so far has been real. It's been raw. There's been pain. There's been mistakes. There's been some clutch hitting. But as I said just a few moments ago, and not to anyone's surprise, because last year's World Series sucked and was extremely disappointing, we got ourselves at least 6 games here, maybe? How does it feel like to you?
You know what? I would have thought that, but this series to me has shifted dramatically because rather than Boston, they were 9 outs away from going to St. Louis, up 2-0, having beaten both Wainwright and Wacha. Now, all of a sudden, they need to rely on an unsteady Jake Peavy, got trashed in his last outing, and Clay Buchholz, who has a boo-boo in his shoulder, to avoid being down.
Is that the technical term, boo-boo?
I think so.
That's how it would show up on the 360 ticker?
That's the playoff term.
Look,
upper body boo-boo.
Upper body. Very good.
And so they need to rely on those 2 guys to win games or to at least give them a chance in games 3 and 4. And if they don't, they could be facing elimination game 5 when it's the Lester Wainwright rematch, as things are tentatively scheduled now. And who knows what that matchup's going to be with, Slimegate lurking over Jon Lester's head. I mean, is he going to be able to be the same guy with people peering into his glove and a lot of tight camera shots on what's between the thumb and the webbing of his mitt?
Look what Dirk Hager started. Well, this is all down to Dirk.
Well, you know what? I don't think this is down to Dirk. I think this is down to the Red Sox being careless. I mean, these are kind of unwritten rules in baseball. Okay, you don't tell on our guy, we won't tell on your guy. You don't want to snitch because the guy beside you is probably doing the same thing.
And for those who don't know the complete context, the initial tweet of what is in Jon Lester's glove came from a minor league manager in the Cardinals organization, correct?
Cardinals minor leaguer, yeah. Minor league pitcher, I think.
Which he quickly deleted, oddly enough.
Yeah.
But as social media is, things live for basically the end of time, and it's tough to delete them completely.
Right.
It did look kind of weird, though, didn't it?
The thing is, the problem
like
is
some type of looked like nuclear waste.
Yeah, like they shot Ghost from Ghostbusters. Ghost got shot in the slime.
Who are you gonna call? Jon Lester.
Clay Buchholz says.
Clay Buchholz. He's loading. Well, allegedly loading.
Well, the thing is, it's like if you're gonna do it, the convention, quote unquote, would be to not be overt about it, be subtle about it, right? And when Clay Buchholz was here in Toronto, the way he was dabbing his forearm with his 2 index fingers.
That was more damning.
That's not a normal action, right? And to have that substance, apparent substance in your mitt in game 1 of the World Series.
Like he took the whole mitt and dipped it in the rosin and just walked to the mound and said, here we go.
Right, but mixed with who knows what.
Hey, who knows what else.
I mean, because that doesn't just look like rosin.
No.
Right? Just like on Buchholz's arm when they said it was rosin. That didn't, the last I checked, rosin doesn't shimmer.
And then Buchholz leaves for 2 months. No one's talking about it anymore.
Right.
Comes back. That's just fishy how that one went. But the things that can hijack a storyline in the day-to-day of a World Series, right?
And that's what makes the next 2 games to me so intriguing. Because if the Red Sox all of a sudden have to avoid elimination within that context, I mean, how does that affect Lester? How does that affect them? How does all those questions overlapping that game and what could be their season? How does that play out?
Michael Wacha, who is now 4-0 this postseason. And, we've seen young pitchers come into a playoff and pitch well, pitch with surprisingly strong poise. But to go into Fenway in October, in that type of environment, and to not be perfect, to still give one up to Poppy, but still get the result. I mean, that is a level of composure, Shi, and correct me if I'm overstating it. I can't remember the last time we saw a kid this young in that type of environment just be that cool with it.
Yeah, not particularly as a starter. I'm trying to rack my brain. I can't think of it.
I can't think of it.
The last person who comes to mind was Francisco Rodriguez when the Angels won the...
and he was just blowing people away.
Right, but he was coming out of the bullpen. Yeah. But he was coming into key spots and key moments, and he was making some big outs. But, to me, the ultimate picture of composure for him in that game was in the 4th inning. The Red Sox hit the first 2 runners on. Mike Napoli comes up. Mike Napoli, Mr. Big Hit in the World Series, key blow in game 1, and gets ahead of him and then gets a 6-4-3. That rally is dead. The Red Sox look limp again. And that was such a big moment for him, probably for him and in that game. And we've just seen him be like that in that postseason. But when you do it against the Red Sox and as good as they've been from start to finish this year, that makes it all the more impressive. And you know, I mean, to get that guy that low in the first round, it's really remarkable and a credit to them. And sometimes you got to be a bit lucky to be good too.
He was a compensatory pick in the Pujols signing, was he not?
Yeah.
Michael Wacha?
Yeah.
It is amazing how life works.
Yeah. And you know, for everyone who says, you know, you let guys go for nothing, particularly under the old system. I mean, there would have been a second pick too. I'm not sure who the other compensatory pick for Pujols was, but you know, the Cardinals played that absolutely right. You know, they gave Pujols their price. They didn't write him a blank check, and they left it to the Angels to give him huge money and watch his body deteriorate before their eyes.
Games 3, 4, and 5 now in St. Louis. There is no designated hitter on both the Red Sox side, Shi, and the Cards. What is the biggest concern both managers have lineup-wise with what they have to do and who's in play in terms of sitting and starting without that DH on both sides?
Okay, for the Red Sox, it's Ortiz, Napoli at first base. I mean, John Farrell ruled out the possibility of using Napoli behind the plate. So it seems pretty cut and dry. Either Ortiz sits or Napoli sits. And the hint was after the last game that Ortiz is going to be the guy at first base.
He has to.
Right. But that it gives you a really nice weapon on your bench in Mike Napoli, but you really want him for more than one at bat.
But defensively, Ortiz might not be the liability some people think. I mean, he didn't play a lot of games at first this year, but he did make an error in 6 games, was it?
Yeah, but
it's a small sample size, I know. But
and the range isn't going to be there.
No.
But you know, first base, you're handling the ball the most, but it's mostly just catching relay throws. So the loss defensively is probably minimal, especially compared to how special a bat you're getting there. Yeah. You can certainly live with that. That's not the concern for them. But how does that lineup look minus Napoli? And that's going to be a problem for them.
On the Cards side,
Alan Craig
he can't play the field yet, can he? With the foot injury?
That's the $1 million question. There seemed to be some suggestions that he could. I mean, how much of that is smokescreen? How much of that is the Cardinals being concerned about, you know, displacing the guys who have been there and been doing it for several months? And, you know, and Craig's in a tough spot. I mean, he was out for an extended period. And not only are you facing some of the best pitching in baseball, you're facing some of the best pitching in baseball with everything on the line, and you don't have any at-bats under you.
It was a real shame, too. What do you have, 97 RBI when he was out in early September?
Yeah.
And the unquestioned best clutch hitter they had with the guys on base.
Right, and they had stupid numbers with men on base all season long. And that with hitting, and it's such a timing thing, it's so hard to get that back. And in that spotlight, I thought he had some decent at-bats the past couple of days. But, you know, you saw it there in the 7th inning, just when they come back. John Lackey just got him looking, 3 straight pitches, boom, boom, boom. And there didn't seem to be a lot of fear from Lackey as he was pitching to him. And the same thing with the Red Sox. I mean, they know that this is a guy who's not where he is. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Cardinals end up maybe sitting him. As tough a decision as that is and as special as a bat that it is.
But along the same lines as Napoli.
Right.
These are going to be some of the best pinch hitters we see all season.
Exactly.
And those decisions late in the games are going to be very intriguing.
Right. Which it only puts more pressure on the bullpens to perform those key segments. And, you know, I mean, the Cardinals bullpen has been there by and large. And, you know, the Red Sox bullpen had a significant hiccup last night.
I love, we got to get going in about 30 seconds, but I love how Mike Matheny just told Pete Kozma, just take a break. You know, he had the bad first game, couple errors. You know, I think that's what makes great managers great. It's not an easy call because Kozma's been a constant, and he's been very good for that team. But in Game 2 of a World Series, you go, you know what? Just relax for a bit. We'll get you in. Just relax. I think that's what makes great managers great, and Matheny made that type of call.
Yeah, you have to know the guy, too, and then to be able to put him in a key spot and then say, we trust you to lead a double steal as well.
Yeah.
And then you're going to play defense to close it out at the critical point of the game. That's a good piece of managing.